is almost seen as being sacrilegious. There are people that will get mad at you when you talk about the idea of black people winning, or will get upset with you when you talk about the idea of black people being economically strong and independent. Not independent in the sense that we're disconnected. We should always be connected, but independent in the sense that we are connected in an empowered way, as opposed to as opposed to a way that creates sort of a modernized version of slavery. So I would say that when you talk about the intersection of politics with all that we're trying to do, the politics is everywhere, and unfortunately, a lot of the politics can be very damaging, very negative to our self perception, and it puts us in this almost like charity class. And not every black person is built to be a charity case. Not every black person needs to be carried along or helped out as if we are some disabled group of people. Charity's good. Charity's good for children. It's good for senior citizens. It's good for people with disabilities. But if you are a strong, able-bodied black man, you don't need charity. You might need somebody to get out the way so you can go out here and fulfill your destiny. If you are a strong black woman, I mean, black women don't need nobody carrying them. Black women can carry the world. So basically, as far as black people go, I think it's important for us to turn inward to ourselves and realize what we can do without worrying about what other people are doing for us, with us, to us, or about us. I think that if we focus on ourselves and build within ourselves, then the rest of the world just needs to look out, because and it's already happening. This is not a pipe dream anymore. This is not a what if. This is not a fantasy anymore. You see it all around you. We are in the middle right now of one of the greatest black economic revolutions in history. We are making black history right now. Have never in all of our in at least in the last 120 years been this many black people that are collected together talking about building wealth, talking about owning real estate, talking about investing in stocks, talking about starting businesses, talking about black empowerment. It's now cool and very cool to be black. So I personally think that we're at the beginning of something that is going to impact our community over the next several hundred years. And I'm just happy to play my little part in this. I think it's going to be amazing.
Wow, man, I just want to say thank you. Just for you to say that, as a, the mind, right? C plus B equals A. What you conceive in your mind, you believe in your heart, you will achieve. And I love that, Watkins. If you just say it's time, that we've ever seen, as far as black economics, right? And people of color rising up. I just got a wind of a sister out in California. I think she's in Inglewood. She's got the first African-American owned blockchain cryptocurrency, right? Brick and mortar, business, right? Where you can buy, cryptocurrency and all this, and I'm just like, wow. And in Inglewood. And so for you to say what you're saying is so important for us to understand there are a lot of brothers and sisters rising up. And so with that, talk to me, because, one of the things that there's also some shame. There's also some regret. Okay, can we be real? Can we be real tonight, Dr. Watkins?
Of course. Yes.
I mean, and so, we've all, whenever I ask people, I say, if I had only known back then what I know now, how would my life be different? And a lot of people have regret. A lot of people have shame when it comes to the mistakes they've made with their finances, with their money. And so would you be so kind to talk about, what are some things that, families can do? What can they do to say, the past is gone. Let me make some new choices right now. What are some steps?
Well, I'll tell you, I can think of in my own life a lot of mistakes that I've made that led to tremendous shame. And in the world has no problem shaming you when you come up short. And I will say to you that the process that I had to go through in order to overcome that shame and to truly find a way to try to become my best self, it's a lifelong journey. None of us have this perfect. I realize it comes down to self-love and self-acceptance. And that means being able to look in the mirror, see who you are, and really truly love that person, be proud of that person. Don't feel like you have to step off of the plate of who you are in order to become relevant and special and meaningful, but realize that you're already in the sweet spot. You're already in the best community that there is. You don't have to leave the hood to be great. The hood is great. It's just a lot of buried treasure there, maybe in certain situations. So I think that when you see it that way, when you realize that that you don't have to go chase the world in order to find your relevance. The world should be chasing you. You can stay right where you are and realize that you matter. And so I think it's a journey of self-love. That self-esteem piece is real significant when you talk about overcoming the demon of white supremacy. White supremacy is built on a very basic idea that you have been taught from the very beginning that you are inferior, that there's something wrong with you, and that just being black and being a good person is not enough. Because you're nobody until somebody who's better than you tells you that you are somebody. So if you're making mistakes along the way, if you're dealing with the curses that come with being black, you deal with the things a lot of us deal with: horrible student loans, out of control student loans that you took on because you didn't know any better, dealing with bad credit. Credit been bad since since Jesus was a baby. You're dealing with maybe crazy, embarrassing situations that have occurred in your own family. Dealing with maybe going to the age of 30, 40, or even 50 or 60 without even investing a penny, or renting a house for the next 20 or 30 years. I think that it's important to, first of all, understand that you can forgive yourself for all of that, because nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. And how would you know any better if nobody taught you any better? Right. But here's the thing. Here's your power play. Your power play is that when I was a little kid, I learned my best lessons from the people that made the most mistakes. My daddy came back from Vietnam, and he had a heroin addiction. He also, he drank a lot. He made a lot of mistakes. His PTSD caused him to make mistakes as a father in certain situations. He was very consistent, loved my mother for 46 years. They're still married, but he will tell you in a second that he made a lot of mistakes. But let me tell you this. It was because my father would have candid conversations with me about the dangers of drugs and alcohol that I never touched drugs. I never touched alcohol my whole entire life. And that kind of thing was, and so watching people who made mistakes understand that they still have a role to play. You still have the ability to be the best teacher in the world, because your credibility is driven by the fact that you've seen the dark side of mismanaging your credit, or forming an addiction, or bad relationships, or whatever. And so young people will hear you. And the thing about wealth, and just not just financial wealth, but all the wealth that comes with living your best life, whatever that looks like for you. The thing about wealth is that wealth is an intergenerational phenomenon. It's not a one generation thing. It's not one of those things where you say, man, my time is up. I'm in my 50s. I messed up. I threw away a lot of my best years, so it's over for me. No, the game is just beginning. What's happening in 2021 is not nearly as relevant as what's going to be happening in 2041, 2061, and 2081. And you're not going to be here. You're going to be dead. You're going to be long gone, kicking up dirt. You're going to be 6 feet under. But your children and grandchildren are still going to be here. They're going to be playing the same game you're playing, dealing with the same racism, the same capitalism, the same challenges, the same competition that exists in the world. How are you going to make sure that what you experienced, that the setbacks that you might have gone through, set them up for power plays, so that they can learn the things you never learned? I'm not really thinking about me. I don't think my life matters that much, honestly, in the whole scheme of things. It's like a relay race with 10 runners, and I'm runner number 1. But the next 9 runners are going to live over the next 200 years. And I'm just trying to run the baton as fast as I can to put them in the best position to win. That's what your job is. Your job is to plant the seed so that they can receive the harvest. Your job is not to get the harvest and the seeds all in your lifetime, because wealth is not a short-term race. It's not a sprint. Wealth is a marathon, and it's a marathon relay race that goes over a 100-year period. That's where wealthy families come from. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling bad. Stop letting yourself low self-esteem stop you from doing what you can to help the team, and just do your best and set your grandkids up to win. That's what you're supposed to do.
Man, I absolutely love that, because as you know, we're really big on generational wealth. And even when we talk about the 6-week program that we have coming up, so 6 weeks is obviously not enough to